Okay, one day closer to the second scrimmage. We're looking forward to it. I think that's going to be a big test for our program, an opportunity for a lot of these guys to show kind of where they've come since the first scrimmage. Questions?
Were you putting in special teams today a little bit more?
We're a little bit more in terms of kickoff return. That was probably the emphasis today. The punt we do just about every day. We got some returns in today, and we've got a lot to clean up on it, but it's good to get it in.
Who are you looking at returners-wise? Janarian?
Certainly Janarian will be back there. Josh Hicks is an exciting guy. Justin Goodwin always does a good job back there. So I think we've got a lot of guys that can do it for us. But Janarian will certainly be part of the team.
The special teams a place you can get some true freshmen on the field. I know obviously you did it with Hicks and Martin right off the bat last year.
We did it with Hicks and Martin, and a couple years ago we did it with Leonte. Leonte really played primarily on special teams in 2012 and really was productive. Tackles on kickoff, had a block punt during the season. It is an area where like raw athleticism can kind of take over, and you can get a guy to play within a system for a couple plays a game. I'm not sure who that'll be yet this year, but there's a lot of guys we're looking at doing it.
Obviously, Janarian, I think, only had 3 or 4 punt returns all last year. Is there anything you guys can do to, I know teams are kicking away from him because he's so explosive, anything you guys can do to make sure he gets more opportunity there?
I think anytime somebody has to alter what they do because of your personnel, then they're doing something that really they've only had a week to practice, and that usually works to your benefit. So I don't worry so much about that. We absolutely would love for Janarian to touch the ball as much as he can, and especially on special teams, kickoff returns and punt returns alike. But I don't get overly concerned if they're going to kick it out of bounds or they're going to alter what they do to keep him from touching it. We should end up in a pretty good field position.
Kyle, I believe we're at day 10. Anything on the quarterback decision?
Nothing yet. I know, and everybody's anxiously waiting, but I understand that. Ultimately, when we do it, we want it to be final, and when the decision's ready to be made, we'll make it.
I know we've asked a lot of questions about their performance, but just leadership-wise, what have you seen from them in the 2 weeks?
I like what they're doing. I like the way they're controlling the huddle, and again, we're challenging them. We are really pressing the installs, and what we do on defense is challenging for a young quarterback. So they're seeing a lot of good stuff every day in practice. It's going to get them ready for the year.
Kyle, are you closer to settling which guys you want in the offensive line rotation?
I think we're close. I do think we're going to play more than 5. I like the way some of these younger guys are coming along. I like Marcus Applefield every day. He seems to impress me a little bit more. Tariq Cole is impressive. And again, we want to be a little more consistent, but he's getting there. So I definitely see us playing more than 5 this year.
Coach, how has Lumpkin been in a leadership role with that offensive line?
I think the last couple of practices he's had have been his best practices. I'm really pleased with kind of how he's developing through training camp, and he looks like a guy who's played a lot of football.
What about on the other side? You talked last year about maybe rotating 7 or 8 defensive linemen. Do you have a number in mind as far as?
You would love 8. You would love to rotate 8 and be able to just send them in waves and keep them all fresh. I don't know. We'll be somewhere between 6 and 8. I don't know if we'll be exactly 8 or not.
How do you feel like Miles Nash has made the adjustment to Aaron? How do you think he's taking advantage of these extra reps he's gotten?
Yeah, I think he's doing a good job. I think Miles is doing a good job. Like anything else, it's going to take time. But I think he's in. I know he certainly feels like he's in the right spot, and that gives you confidence as a player.
Coach, is it starting to become clear which freshmen might have a chance to play this year and which ones might not?
I don't know that I'll be able to say that until after the scrimmage. I probably, I won't tell you. I probably can tell you which ones won't play. Which ones were more likely to redshirt. Maybe is a better way to say it. But we've got some guys that are kind of on the fringe right now, and hey, 1 or 2 guys get dinged up, they're going to play.
What have you seen out of the tight ends? A guy like Charles Scarf, who's entering the sophomore year this year.
I feel like we've got a lot of guys who are going to contribute this year. That's how I feel about that group. That's one of the more consistently performing groups we have in everything they do. So they are high intangible guys, and they do an excellent job. They come to work every day. I didn't think we particularly caught it as well as we had the rest of training camp. So maybe we lost a little bit of focus for whatever reason, but I like that group, and I think we're going to have 3 or 4 of them play this year.
Has anyone stood out in particular yet, or not?
No, I don't think so. I think they're all going to be contributors in one way or another.
It feels like we've been on the grass a lot more this camp than the last couple camps. Any reason behind that?
I like to be on the grass when we can. So sometimes, when we come out and look at it in the morning, it's too slick. So you don't want to come out here if guys are going to be slipping and things like that. That can lead to pulls that you really don't want to risk. But the weather's really cooperated for us this year. Yeah, that's probably the reason.
2 more questions. Margolis as a backup, a linebacker, and then special teams. What have you seen out of him?
He's still learning the position. He's a guy in high school that played safety, played wide receiver, played kind of a flex tight end, didn't play linebacker. So being at the second level of a defense where everything happens faster is an adjustment. So last year he spent a lot of time in the scout team. Hard to make the adjustment when you're doing that. So now that he's had a spring practice and a couple days in training camp, he's starting to get it, but he's still learning the position.
Mike there. Did he miss practice today?
He did. Mike missed practice. Nothing that will really be an extended timeout for him. But we'll get him back either tomorrow or I think probably, if not Saturday, then certainly by Monday he'll be back.
Thanks, guys.